So according to the Hopi prophecies, the nations were given guardianships. So the red people, the red nations, were given the guardianship of the earth. The yellow races were given the guardianship of the wind. The black races, the guardianship of the waters. And the white races were given the guardianship of fire. And by the way, the scripture says that the people that came and took us into captivity came from the north. So the red nations was given the earth. The black nations were given the waters. The northern kingdom, the southern kingdom. The tribe of Dan, the one that broke off the tree of life, better known as the judge. And Jah used them as judgment upon our nations when we broke covenant. And they work with the Roman Catholic Church.
The Church implemented something that was blood purity. Anyone who was Anglo-Christian was pure blood. Literally everyone else was impure and they were worthy of death. That was the Crusades. But the document of discovery of 1493, this was the Catholic decree that said any Christian that looked like me had the rightful claim of any and all land and waterways in the world. It basically says that all indigenous people are not human. And this is still in effect today. So the Catholic Church believes that if you are black or brown, you are not human. The Catholic Church believes that all land and water belongs to the Anglo-Christian man.
You notice that's exactly what we lost. We lost our guardianship of the earth and of the waters.
Formally rejected the Catholic Church's doctrine of discovery used to justify European colonialism in Africa and the Americas, which dates from papal bulls issued in the 1450s. In a statement issued Thursday, the Vatican said the documents were, quote, manipulated for political purposes by competing colonial powers in order to justify immoral acts against indigenous peoples that were carried out at times without opposition from ecclesiastical authorities, unquote. Many indigenous leaders welcomed the Church's repudiation of the doctrine of discovery, which came 8 months after Pope Francis toured Canada and apologized for the Catholic Church's role in Canada's brutal Indian residential school system, where many students died.
Try and follow what I'm going to tell you. There are two kinds of law on the earth, as I've said. One is called civil law, which is the law of the land, and one is called maritime admiralty, which is called the law of water. Maritime admiralty is banking law, and the law on the maritime admiralty says that you, because you came out of your mother's water, are a maritime admiralty product. This is why the ship is sitting in its berth and is tied to the dock, and the captain has to give a certificate of manifest to the port authority because money is changing hands. This is why when you were born, you have to have a birth certificate. It's got to be signed by the dock, because that's where the ship is tied to, is the dock. So the dock signs your birth certificate.
I explained in past teaching how they can't hold us to these old contracts anymore because Judah was the last kingdom to fall. And they came in our lands in 1619 plus 400 years, that's 2019. And that's why the whole world has been going crazy since 2019. They know they had to return their lands back to us. Remember the Maui fires? And they too are tribal brothers and sisters. The video I'm about to play for you right now, I don't know if you could tell, that's a Nordic being.
What is currently happening? The sky is changing, the sun is changing, the stars are changing, the moon is changing, and old cycles are ending. Outdated contracts are ending, outdated cycles are ending. We are stepping into a new era. Do you feel this? Many teachings we know from the New Age are not working. We understand more and more what the divine matrix is, and the 12th Stargate is open. It's a very powerful Stargate. What is the 12th Stargate? Land of Mu. The 12th Stargate is Land of Mu, Hawaii, Lemuria. Coincidences they attacked Hawaii? No, these were no coincidences because they knew the 12th Stargate will open soon.
The 12 Stargates, Book of Revelation, each door represents each tribe of Israel. In the reading of Obadiah, you should read it. It's a short read. It tells you everything that's happening and it's about to happen. It tells you that Israel will reoccupy her land. And I explained in past teachings that Jerusalem is in America. That's why since 2019, they have been returning our lands back to us. They don't want to do that, but they have no choice. And these are recent headlines, by the way. They're returning lands and waters back to us. That's what Gog and Magog, which is China, Russia, and by the way, China is already here. They're coming together with the nations of the world to try to get another 1,000-year reign, because their 1,000-year reign is almost up. They think they're going to do the same thing all over again by enslaving us and taking our lands again. What they don't understand is that Abba allowed it. That's why it happened, because we broke covenant. But now he'll be fighting with us. He will be leading them to the valley of Jehoshaphat, in which they will die there. And you could do the research for yourself. Look up Lands Back Movement 2019, and you're going to see all the headlines and all the property being returned right back to our people. The 400 years are up. Have you not noticed everything that has been happening to the citizens of America since 2019? Again, these are recent headlines. Air, water supplies, plagues. And I also cover in past videos, there is no more government. It's all smoke and mirrors.
I want y'all to listen. There's no government. There's no presidents. There's no Democrats. There's no Republicans. There's no House of Representatives. There's none of that bullshit here. All that's come to an end. Listen to this.
The United States Treasury is now the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, Presidential Documents, Volume 24, Number 4, page 11322, United States Code 285-2887. 5. United States does not have any employees because there is no longer a legitimate United States.
Okay, you hear that? There's no employees. The United States is over. It's done. It's a wrap. Let's go.
That's referred to the Republic, which was overthrown in 1861 with the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. There shall be no more reorganizations, and after over 200 years of bankruptcy, it is finally over. That's Executive Order 12803. 6. The FCC, the CIA, the FBI, and NASA, and all the other alphabet gangs were never a lawful part of the United States Republic constitutional government. Even though the United States Government Corporation, through its trustees or representatives, held stock in all of these agencies. So when you're looking at any of these agencies, you're looking at the U.S. There's different names of contractor entities, all of which are part of the technical operations of the Unum Sanctum U.S. United States Corporation Company. So when you speak of one, you're talking about a masked version of the same entity. If you want some law case reference to further do research to clear your mind on any doubts that you may have, look up United States versus Strang, 254 U.S. 491, Lewis versus U.S. 680, F, 2nd edition, 1239.
Okay, there you have it. There's no more citizens here. Everybody else, if you're not an Indian, you land squatting or you're illegal. That's facts. The United States is done. It's a wrap. People are going to have to stop returning back to where they originated. This is what they tell you. This is why Kevin McCartney was trying to tell y'all. We got to find places for 14 million people to go. Because they knew that this day was coming. So now y'all got to return home. That's the Nusara Jusara takeover. I'm trying to tell y'all. That day has come, man. We get our land back.
Also, the scripture tells you that this great army will be coming from the north. For the king of the north will muster another army. You notice I says another because it's been done before. Larger than the first, and after several years will advance with a huge army fully equipped. So they're going to be marching into Babylon, which is America, and to try to do it all over again. But that's not how the book ends. And like I explained earlier, the Hopi prophecies, the 4 nations of the world were given guardianship. The red nations, the guardianship of the earth. The yellow nations, wind. The black races, water. And the north was given guardianship of fire, as in the fire that's going to rain down on Babylon when they nuke it. We were all supposed to work together. We fell under the curses and they took our guardianship of water in our lands. So they control the 4 elements. Who controls the 4 elements basically runs the world. Notice how the compass has a cross and an X in the center. Just like the flag of London, a cross and X behind it. There also happens to be the cross of Scientology. That would be the one world religion, by the way. AI, science, the one thing that all nations could come together and agree with. For he is the prince of the air, airwaves, and frequencies. And another thing, Reddit and TikTok sometimes don't play my videos or have them removed. I just started all over again on YouTube, so if you're interested, you can find me there under Heaven's Delight too.